The Central Valley continues to reflect on the life and legacy of Daryle Lamonica, the Clovis High grad and former Raiders quarterback who passed away Thursday at the age of 80. With more, let's go ahead and welcome in Sports Central's Scott Bemis. Hey, Scott.
Kara, the Central Valley, of course, lost one of its sporting icons on Thursday, a man who played a key role in some big moments in the history of professional football. And in February of 2015, I had a chance to spend some time with Daryle at his home, where we reflected on one of those moments, Daryle's one opportunity to compete on football's biggest stage.
So I look at these photos and it brings back a lot of the memories we were talking about earlier.
Although it happened 47 years ago, former Raiders quarterback Daryle Lamonica still recalls many of the vivid details from Super Bowl II, a game known at the time as the AFL-NFL World Championship game.
Never dreamt it would be what it is today.
The term Super Bowl would come along a year later in 1969, but in '68, when Lamonica led his AFL champion Raiders into Miami to take on the NFL champion Packers, the name wasn't the only difference between then and now.
Everything was around football then. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of side attractions and stuff.
Don't be misled. The Super Bowl was still a big deal. The game played to a sellout crowd at the Orange Bowl, and nearly 40 million people tuned in to watch.
Everything was big. I remember we came onto the field and they had these big players of a Raider and then of a Green Bay Packer. I mean, it must have been, looked like 2 stories high.
But there wasn't the over-the-top pomp and circumstance there is today. The former All-State QB at Clovis High says there was a media day.
Probably more writers than we'd ever seen before, so.
About 50 or so, compared to more than 4,000 members of the media this year. Most tickets were in the $8 to $12 range, compared to present-day prices in the thousands. And the halftime entertainment in '68?
I couldn't tell you who entertained at halftime.
A college marching band. The mighty Packers won that Super Bowl, 33-14 over Daryle's Raiders, who were nearly a 2-touchdown underdog.
I was impressed how we held our own for over half, and we made a lot of good plays. We made some bad plays. I threw the one interception.
Lamonica did throw 2 touchdowns, but that interception was returned for a touchdown and pretty much sealed the Raiders' fate.
I remember that. I've gone over it 1,000 times. Freddie was going down, he was going to hook, and he got bumped, and I saw him go into his hook mode, and I released it. As soon as I did it, he got bumped off, and I go, no!
Earlier in his career, Lamonica was a part of 2 AFL championship teams with the Bills, and the Mad Bomber was honored with his fair share of individual awards. 2
of my trophies that are probably the most special in my career. The most valuable player in the American Football League.
As I listen to you, Daryle, I get the feeling that you're almost replaying the game in your head right now as you're looking at these.
I can. If I look at this, yeah, it takes me back in time.
And although he came close, he would never again get another shot at football's ultimate prize.
You're one of a handful of people that's started at quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I never look at it that way, but yeah, it's special. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It would probably been more special if I had a ring to go with it.
You know, it's special either way, if you ask me. You know, Lamonica also led the Raiders to within a game of the Super Bowl the next 3 seasons. But even though he came up just short of winning the big one, he's still a proven winner historically. In fact, his .791 winning percentage in the Super Bowl era, still first among quarterbacks with at least 70 starts. Left quite a legacy here and in football.